Hello everyone, I'm Robin the Delta Crafter and I want to thank you for joining me for another video on my YouTube channel. Today I have something extra special for you. I'm going to be sharing with you the Shark Week kit created by my friend Joy Baldwin and created with Joy. This is an extra exclusive kit that she is offering right now. If you follow Joy, then you know that every year she does a Shark Week, week of creating and crafting, card making, that is hosted on her YouTube channel. I'll be sure to link her YouTube channel below for you guys. So this year she is offering a kit for Shark Week. And I've been chosen as one of her crafty friends to share with you guys the kit as well as create something with it. So here is all the pieces to the kit, and let's kind of go into what all is included. First up is the Beachy Sharks stamp set that was created by Joy. This is a 6x8 stamp set, and you can see it has all kinds of cute sharks, some sharks out sunning, some sharks in a tube here, and all kinds of different shark themes on here. There's also little accessories that can go along. You can put sunglasses on your shark, and there's amazing little sentiments that go along with this Shark Week theme. So this is an amazing stamp set. Next in the kit, you'll be receiving some sequins mix that is put together by the Diary of Belle Rose. I absolutely love Marisha. I have several of her sequins mixes, and they are really fun and great to use. Let's take a closer look at this sequins mix. Oh, this is cute. Looks like there's some little fish in our sequins mix. Let me hold it up closer so you guys can see. There's some little fish in our sequins mix, stars, of course, aqua colored and white colored sequins, and there's another little fish right there. How cute is that? Oh, this is going to be really cute. These look like little rafts, or sorry, pool noodles. This is a really cute sequins mix that's included in the kit. Also in the kit is this sheet of toner sentiments. These can be easily foiled with Deco Foil if you run them through a Mink machine, or you can run them through an laminator. So that's included. You'll also receive a piece of acetate, and I'll tell you what you'll need this for in just a moment. You'll get a sheet of toner sharks. So you can cut these sharks out individually, run them through your Mink machine with toner, with foil as well, or through a laminator and foil these sharks. You'll also receive a sentiment background that is also in toner, printed in toner, so you can use your foil on this as well, and you can create a whole background for a card using this. Also included in the kit is a pre-cut cover that you can use the acetate on. So what you'll do with this is you can easily make a cute little shaker card by including some of the sequins mix and using the acetate to create a shaker card. Here's a backer for that shaker card. These all are cut to A2 size, so 5.5 by 4.25. And then here is a piece of turquoise cardstock. This is the same color as this cardstock as well, so you'll have a piece of this that you could turn into an A2 size card if you score it down the middle, and it can easily become an A2 card. And then the last piece of cardstock is Mars Green cardstock, and this is included in the kit as well. So this kit is $24.99, and you can purchase this kit on Joy's website. And again, I'll be sure to link that below for you so that you guys can go over there and grab it. It'll be available from May 1st through May 14th of 2023. This is the only time that these items will be offered as a kit. She may have the stamp set available on its own later on, but if you want the kit, then you need to make sure that you get it between May 1st and May 14th. Additionally, Joy will be hosting a live on her YouTube channel for Shark Week, where she'll be creating a shaker card with using the kit, and that way you can craft along with her. So that was why you have this card that's already pre-cut and ready to go, and so that you can have the all you need to make the shaker card with Joy on her YouTube channel. So now that we've taken a look at everything that's in the kit, let's go ahead and make a card. So I'm going to be doing some very basic Copic coloring on my shark stamp. So the first thing that I want to do is stamp out my shark image. So I've chosen the shark that is sitting in the inner tube, and I'm going to stamp that onto some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock in the 80-pound weight. So I'm positioning my stamp on my paper so that I can actually get 2 stamps on this one piece of cardstock. And the cardstock has been cut down to A2 size cardstock. I'm using a sander here to take off some of the film that is on my stamp due to the manufacturing. And so I want to remove that so I get great adhesion of my ink. And speaking of inks, I'm going to be using the Hero Arts Intense Black ink. This is a Copic friendly ink that works well with Copic coloring. So I'm stamping my image a couple of times, making sure I get good coverage of ink, and I'm going to press my image onto my cardstock. I'm actually going to do this twice because I want to make sure that I have a good solid impression of the stamped image. So I can see there that I have a few little gaps, so I stamped it a second time, and I'm satisfied with the way that came out. This is a pigment ink, so it needs a little bit more time to dry. So that's why I'm going ahead and stamping my images first, so I can set it aside and let the images dry before I start to Copic color them. Let's move on and create our background. So I brought in the sun background stencil from Hero Arts, and I'm going to use this stencil to create the background, and I'm also going to make sure that I have the centerpiece of the sun taped into place, as you can see there, because I'm going to remove that later on and color in my sun, and I just didn't want any harsh lines when I get ready to do that. So we're going to be using some distressed inks in Carved Pumpkin, Wild Honey, Mustard Seed, and then we're going to finish off with Abandoned Coral. This is going to create a beautiful sunset that's going to be like a beachy kind of scene. So I'm going to come in first with my Carved Pumpkin, and I'm going to put that Carved Pumpkin closest to the sun. I know that may sound a little bit strange to come in with orange instead of yellow for closest to the sun, but once you see how everything comes together, I think you'll agree with me that Carved Pumpkin needed to be first. Using a small detail brush from Simon Says Stamp, I just went around the edge of the sun with that Carved Pumpkin and added a nice layer of that color to my panel. Now I'm coming in with the Wild Honey, and I've also gone in with Mustard Seed. I've switched up my brush a little bit, and to be honest with you, I wasn't really satisfied with how this ink went down for the Abandoned Coral, so I'm going to end up switching that up a little bit. So I'm removing that stencil, and once I do that, you can see we have these harsh white lines. I'm not a fan of that look for this card, so I'm going to come in with my colors, and I'm just going to go back over each area with my detail brushes, and I'm going to add in some more color and kind of smooth out or soften those white rays so that they get a little bit of color, but also the in-between part gets a little bit more intense. Then I just work my way back down through my color palette, ending with the Carved Pumpkin. And now you can see why I kind of wanted the center of that stencil to be included. I'm going to come in with the orange, and I'm going to fill in the entire sun with that Carved Pumpkin. I am absolutely satisfied and loving the way this background came together. So now that that's done, I'm going to set that aside and let that background dry a little bit. While the background is drying, I'm going to move back to our stamped shark images. The colors that I'm going to be using for the shark, I'm going to be using Y08 for the inner tube, and I'm also going to be using a couple of colors of red. So I'm going to color in the little dots on the inner tube with the Y08, and then I'm going to come in with R17. I believe that's the color I'm using. Yes, R17. And I'm going to lay down a good base layer of color on the actual tube, the rest of the tube. So I'm going to color all of the tube with that, and then I'm going to come in with R35 and give the tube some highlights. So I'm a beginner Copic colorer. I don't have a whole lot of experience with this, but I did jump into the markers this past winter, and I'm just watched a couple of videos, and I'm kind of going after it and using what I think I understand. So now I'm coming in with some grays. So I started with N2, then I moved to my darkest shade of gray, which is N6, and now I'm going to blend that gray, that N6, into the N2 with N4. Then I come back a little bit with N2 and kind of make sure everything kind of blends together and gives me the look that I'm going for. I'm really happy with the way the shark came together and how the shading really kind of takes him up a notch. Then I turn it around and I do the next same thing with the other shark. This time I switched out the colors for the inner tube. For this one, the polka dots will be red and the inner tube will be yellow. That smile says they're ready for fun. You may have noticed that I didn't ink blend the entire sun stencil part, and that's because we're going to create a water scene for the card as well. So I'm bringing in a piece of the Mars Green cardstock that is included in the kit, and I'm just freehanding cutting some waves on this cardstock. The small piece that I'm using has been cut to an A2 size, so it's going to work great with the card that we're creating today. I love the depth that ink blending gives to cardstock, so we're going to add a little bit of ink blending here as well. If you didn't know, ink blending is my most favorite technique for card making. So we're going to start in with some peacock feathers, and we're going to make sure that we layer in a good amount in the corners, especially the bottom corners, because I kind of want it to kind of bowl up or kind of encircle the bottom of the card. Then we're going to bring in some Mermaid Lagoon, and then I'm going to finish up with a little bit of Uncharted Mariner. That Uncharted Mariner is going to give it a dark, deep color like the bottom of the ocean, and I just really love the dimension that gave this little panel that we're going to place at the bottom of our card. Using a pair of precision scissors, I'm going to fussy cut my sharks out. Now, fussy cutting is not my favorite thing to do, but I have to admit, cutting out these images was pretty simple. They're pretty straightforward, so go ahead and give it a try. I did cut my images pretty close to the black line. I didn't want to have too much of the white showing. So now that I've gotten my sharks cut out, I'm going to do a little bit of a dry fit for my card to kind of figure out where everything goes. I've already cut my sun ray panel down a little bit. It is now 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere my water scene to the panel, and I'm just going to flip it over and cut off all the excess. So I'm kind of adhering that to the panel, and now, like I said, I'm going to cut off all the excess so that everything is nice and flush with the panel. Bringing in my little shark guy here, isn't he cute? Kind of figuring out exactly where I want him to be. I think that placement works for me. So now I'm just going to flip him over, and I'm going to add some foam squares to his back. I want him kind of popping up a little bit like he's actually floating in the water. Another trick you might do is if you have some action wobbles, you may want to put your shark on an action wobble, and then he actually will float and bob in the water. That would be super cute. If you do that, make sure you tag me on social media. I'd love to see your little shark moving around. So we're going to just add him to the card panel and stick him down and make sure he's in place. And then I'm going to bring in some of the sequins mix that's included in the kit. I'm going to kind of play around with a few pieces to see where I want everything. I did go ahead and foil my sentiment off camera, and so I wanted to include a little bit more sparkle and shine on the card that would help set off the sentiment. So I figured out the placement of my sequins, and so I'm just adhering those down with some Beverly Arts glue. And now it's time to assemble our card. I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of this panel because I want it to be popped up just a little bit from our card base. And by the way, our card base is made from accent opaque 120-pound weight cardstock. I'll be sure to link that as well as all the other products that I use down in the description below, as well as on my coordinating blog post. So now I'm just going to adhere our panel to our card base. And I've also put a piece of foam tape on the back of the sentiment, so it too can be popped up a little bit. So now I'm going to bring in my reverse tweezers and I'm going to put our sentiment down. Seize the day. That is such a cute play on words. And pressing that in place, and with that, this card is complete. I want to thank you all for joining me for another video on my YouTube channel today. Be sure to check out Created with Joy's website as well as her YouTube channel. You'll be able to purchase the kit between May 1st and May 14th, 2023. You want to make sure that you grab this, guys, because this is an adorable kit. And while I was at it, I went ahead and made a second card with that other shark that we colored and created. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Delta Crafter, as well as on my website, thedeltacrafter.com. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video again. Please make sure you check out all the other creators who are working with the kit. And until next time, enjoy!